Hi, welcome to Bright Hope Creations. I'm Kara, and today is our final day of the series Creating a Scene. I'll be finishing up all the little details around this little burrow, but also showing how I increase the shadows, giving it a little bit more drama, I guess. So shadows on coming from the light source, the fireplace, to give to the chair and table, and also how to darken up the back of the room. Giving this candle a little bit of shadow, and then making sure it looks like it's silver, and then I put a little bit of color on that candlestick. Decided it's going to be kind of a coral color, a light one. And now it is time to address that room over there. And I decided there's not going to be a light in that room. The light is just going to be out here. I think that keeps our focus in this room, and also it would be a fire hazard if he had a glow going from that room, I think. Well, okay, so this is a W7, and I'm darkening off the back wall. And with the 100, I'm showing that it's even darker. I rarely use that 100, but it is very black, and it's blending very well with this W7, and then coming down onto the floor with the W5, and then blending that forward with the W4. And this is showing that there is some light going into that room from this front room here. So keep gradually blending it out into the front room and incorporating it so there's not a real threshold there or a division between the two rooms, but that the light just gradually fades away. And just keep bringing in some of that darker color, but just in the texture of the front room, and blend that together. All right, so the little heart up at the top where you would see inside, I decided that's dark too, because there's this entryway that is keeping it dark so the light isn't filtering up through the window at the top. And again, just gradually bringing that color to the front, the darkness, and deciding that I want to balance out that real dark room on the one side, and so some of the shadows on the stairs can be a little darker. Now that the scene is mostly colored in, I like to step back and look at it and really decide if I like the amount of shadow. I can always come in and go a little darker with things, and that's what I decided here, that this side could get darker. It would be pretty dark on that part of the picture. But I also want to have an overall gradual look that the top of the room is pretty dark. And so I'm just taking some Post-it note. These are full sticky back Post-it notes, and I'm ripping little parts off and just covering up the snow. And first I'm trying with a gathered twigs distress ink, and I'm ink blending on there, and I thought, nope, I can go darker. This is the ground espresso, and that's the darkness that I was looking for. And I have more control over ink blending in a gradual from dark to light than I would with Copic markers. It's fast. I mean, look at that, just blend away, and there you go. And it's giving me that real effect of that it gradually getting darker at the top, and it's that brown dirt color that I'm looking for. Well, now that I have that blended in, I'm going right back over some of those areas that I want to highlight with shadows by putting in some, I think that's the E44, now with the W3, showing the shadows of the roots, and that really brings those roots out a lot more. This is where coming back with those final shading details really takes the project to the next level for me. It's where I really can show some definition there, whereas before it was fine, but now those roots kind of come out of the wall, but you can tell they're supporting the wall with these shadows around them. And the shadow would be on the tops mostly because the fireplace is below, but really this is a dark area, and so I want to kind of I don't even worry about that light source so much. It's just to show the where it would be darkest, like where the roots divide and where they would go into the wall, and just kind of keep blending, keep working that out, and it really gives it much more interest. So you can see I am coloring with my Copic markers, alcohol markers, right on top of that distress ink. It doesn't seem to bother my marker nibs, and it works real well. Now, if this was a water-based marker, it would react very differently because distress inks react with water, and you can get some great effects with it that way, but these alcohol inks don't react with it, and so I can just come right over that distress ink and color more, shade more. I would not do that with distress oxide inks. They are very different, and so this is the original distress inks, not the oxide inks. I think that might have a problem. All right, so coming in with a C3 and giving him his little nose and his mouth and his eyes, just darkening that up where the stamped image has it. And that's always scary to me. I always worry that I'm gonna mess that up, and I hold my breath. And here I'm just cleaning up some of those areas, some division between the walls and the table, and then with the colorless blender getting that snow white again. This is a piece of paper that is cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I use it to decide where to cut down my scene, but the scene was too big, so I made this one for a 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 inch card. So it's really just a full piece of paper folded in half, and then there it is on my card. All right, well, the fireplace did not get that same ink blended treatment, and so I looked at it again, decided it would be darker up at the top, so I'm gradually deciding how dark it should go, and it would be darker around the edges of the fireplace as well. So I'm starting with this W1, just continuing to add shadow. Now this is more overall shadow rather than individual rock shadow, as I did in a previous video. I think it was episode 3, and decided to go darker. So here's my W2, but then I really decided I could go darker than that, and I have my W3, and that's where I really work on getting in some of those darker shadows. And I'm going to speed this up quite a bit so that you've seen this all happen before, so I don't want to bore you with that, but I will show you. I really decided to come in and define more of the depth of the rocks with that, especially on the outside and the top of the fireplace, so that it would look darker just overall. and then blend that in, especially on the sides and at the top with the W1. And I think that really kind of brought in the shadows much more on this fireplace. Again, it's just a matter of stepping back and looking at the entire scene and deciding how, if it's well balanced. And here's the cool gray to come in and put in a little of that. Well, now it's time to put those shadows on our main focal points here. So I'm starting with the legs of the table. The legs I know what to do with. I'm just moving a line across from where that light source is over to the edge. It's when it's the larger item, the chair portion or the tabletop portion, that's when I get a little scared. So I start that a little lighter and darken it up when I feel a little bit more confident about it. And just, this is still an area that I'm learning, or I'm working to figure out better. So my confidence level isn't great here yet, but I like the results, and so I keep working at it. And now I'm stopping for a minute because I think, oh, is that too dark? So I'm darkening up the floor in the front, which would be darker, but it's like I'm taking a break and deciding, okay, do I like it? Do I want to continue that? I've got to continue that because that tabletop would also be out there. So it just giving myself a break and coming back to it. And here I am back and getting darker. So gaining a little more confidence and putting in that shadow some more. And then I take a break from it again and decide I should get something else shaded. So that's my process. I go away from it to some other part of the picture when I just want to take a break and rethink it, or gain some confidence to go back to it. But eventually I get there. So I'm warming up the floor there, and then I say, okay, gotta put in the darker color. So I have the C3, and I'm just kind of giving what the shadow might look like over there. So it's not going to be the perfect image. It's not a mirror image of the table. It's just kind of how it would all fall on the floor in a shadow. And now I'm going to call this card complete. So I hope you've enjoyed the video today and this mini series, this 5-part series on how to create a scene. If you liked this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. It would be great to know if you would like to see more of this type of video. So please leave a comment down below if you would. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye.